Guys, welcome to your June 2020 readings. These readings are going to be for each sign. I'm going to start with Aries and go all the way through to Pisces. If you do know your sun, moon, and or rising sign, I suggest you listen to all three because you may resonate more with one of your other placements. I did a specific video on that, on the big three in the birth chart and why some people resonate more with the moon or the rising versus the sun sign, and it flips around a lot. So if you want to know more about that, about why I say to listen to the other placements, in the link in the description box below, there's a link to that video, just to give you a little bit more of a detailed explanation if you're interested. Otherwise, just listen to your sun sign or your sun, moon, rising, even your Venus, whatever resonates with you. Please keep in mind that these are for the general collective, so they may not resonate with you, but take what resonates with you and throw away what does not. I also want to mention I've opened back up my email readings, so if you do find something in here to sound specific to you and you'd like to go deeper with that, you can definitely book a recorded reading with me. It's $50. The options are right on my website. The links are below. For a recorded session, you get one question or one area of concern, however you want to ask it, and I'll send you a recorded reading on that. I've opened those back up. They are going to not be open for too long. I only take a certain amount per month. So if that's something you're more interested in, if something I say here resonates and you want to go deeper, like I said, you can find that in my links below. And as always, thank you for continuing to support me and my work. And I am going to get started. We are going to do readings this month for the area of relationships. I figured since it's Venus retrograde, and this is a big one, I've also done a video on that. You can find all of that right here on my channel. But Venus being retrograde in Gemini has everybody examining or re-examining the way that they feel about themselves, about others, how we communicate with others, how we operate in our relationships, what we want, what we don't want, what we like, what we don't like. Anyway, so I thought it would be a good idea to focus on, primarily focus on relationships for the month of June for the readings. As always, though, if something I say fits a different area, please apply it where intuitively you feel like it should go, okay? I am using my John Holland Psychic Tarot of the Heart deck, and I'm also going to be using my Shamanic Healing Oracle cards, just to clarify. And we're going to get started. So we're going to start with Aries, just a quick message for the month of June in regards to relationships with Aries, what you can maybe expect or what's coming up or what we're clearing. Let's just see what comes through for Aries, sun, moon, rising. These cards are so big, I always forget how big they are. All right, Aries, let's see what we've got for you. Okay, Aries, so for the month of June and this specific Venus cycle, this Venus retrograde cycle, when it comes to your relationships, there's a high focus on not issues, but circumstances of control, personal power, how you assert it. If you're too assertive, this could be like, you're coming into contact with a person or people that are going to express to you that they feel like you're not hearing them, and you're going to really sit with yourself and reevaluate the ways in which maybe you have not been hearing them because you've been very focused on other things in your life at the moment, the past couple of months, particularly I feel like with work. So you've been highly focused on your financial situation, specifically the past like 8 to 10 weeks. And in doing that, some of your relationships could have kind of fallen to the wayside. This could be family, this could be friends, this could be romantic, spouse, whatever. But either way, it's someone coming to you in the month of June. If this has not already happened, it will be happening soon, or it's a continuing theme of something that happened recently where this person or people come to you and just kind of say like, hey, I'm not really feeling that great. I feel like we're not connecting the way that I would like. You're not hearing me, and you're going to actually hear them out this time, Aries. And that's the advice for you as well, is to really hear them out and try to honor what they feel. Also, of course, honor what you feel and stay within your power, but you don't have to overpower, okay? Aries is a sign that is very strong. It's a fire sign, a sign of strength ruled by Mars. You're very active. So, and active sometimes can be reactive. So you really just want to listen to this person when they come to you with their concerns and take it to heart, really, and honor it, because it won't be a fight if you don't let it go into the area of a fight, Aries. All right, and let's look real quickly, give you an advice card from the Shamanic Oracle Healing Cards. Aries. New day. So it's a new day, Aries. This is like a new, I feel like within this relationship with this person, it's going to become like a new chapter, or a new, it doesn't seem like it's actually that big of a deal, to be honest, but it just feels like it's like a new chapter or a new way of dealing with the same relationship. So you're actually going to grow from this experience with this person when they tell you. And it's a growth experience for you, because you're not going to go instantly to the place of hostility and aggressiveness, or defensiveness, I should say, not aggressiveness, defensiveness, but more to a place of like, okay, you know what? I'm hearing you. You might be right. I've been really focused on my money the past, 8 weeks, or my job, or I haven't really been dedicating. I haven't called you. I haven't checked in on you. I haven't, really paid attention to what was going on with you. And so you're going to be more aware of that for the month of June. And if somebody does come to you with this and you do get upset, the advice here is to really try to hear them out and don't go defensive. Okay, Aries? And that is your reading for June. That is your quick little message for June. Like I said, if you want to go deeper, you can always book a private consultation or a quick recorded session. Everything's in my comments. My links to the website are below. Okay. Taurus. Taurus sun, moon, rising for the month of June. What is your quick message for the month of June? Message, advice. What to be prepared for, what to watch out for this Venus retrograde for the month of June. Whoops, we had a little flip out. All right, Taurus. Taurus sun, moon, rising. Okay, Taurus. Taurus sun, moon, rising for the month of June. I feel like for a lot of you, this has already been happening, I feel, but then it's going to continue. There has been a lot coming up to the surface for you in regards to the past. Like really thinking about past relationships in your life, even from like a long time ago. It could be like something from childhood relationships that you had, friendships. One person in particular, it feels like you've been maybe dreaming about this person and you're like, well, this is so weird. I haven't thought of this person in so many years, or now why am I all of a sudden they're showing up in my dreams? And it could just be like a sign that this person has been thinking of you too, and that maybe you need to reach out, or they are going to reach out. But I do feel like there's something about with this Venus retrograde in particular for Taurus, going back to that relationship and not necessarily making it about the person, but what about that relationship kind of depicts where you're at right now in your own life at this point on your journey. Where are you now and where were you then? Because I feel like what that is representing for you is actually not about the person, if that makes sense, but it's more about the relationship itself that you had with that person and then with yourself, if that makes sense. But I feel like there's a lot of like deep cathartic clearing and healing here for Taurus through dreams, especially, I feel. And through doing that, you're actually going to come to some really good self-understanding and awareness of your own truths, and what makes you tick, and then what you can bring going forward into your relationships for the month of June to have them in a more healthy, communication in a more healthy manner. But it doesn't feel like this is going to be like the whole month, Taurus. It feels like it's going to be like probably the first half. So this has probably been occurring already for the past 3 weeks, and it will continue for like the next 2 to 3 weeks. But I do really feel like you're going to get some nice insight into yourself through this. And I would highly suggest that you journal, you write your dreams down if you don't do that, even if they seem extremely scattered and insignificant, or even if it's just about like writing down like the person that was in it or the people. All right, Taurus, let's get you a clarifier for the month of June. Whoops, that one wanted to come out, so I'm going to take it. Slow but steady. That's like the mantra of Taurus, the bull, right? Slow but steady. This is a sign, again, that's not really one to kind of rush into things headstrong, unless, of course, you have other placements in your chart that would indicate that you would do that. But typically, Taurians are very methodical in their approach to anything. And it's like, even with this, it's like you've been really sitting with this and trying to figure out, should I reach out to this person? What does this mean? I don't feel like necessarily have to reach out. It almost feels like this is more about you, Taurus. So I hope that that makes sense. And by the end of June, you'll have some clarity. By the end of this Venus retrograde, you'll have some clarity as to what this is trying to tell you. Gemini sun, moon, rising. This is your reading for June for the Venus retrograde. Venus is retrograde in your sign, Gemini, in the sign of duality, the twins. Let's see what the spirit, the cards, and what wants to come out for you for the month of June and for your relationships, Gemini. Okay, so for the month of June, Gemini, you're being asked to listen more than you talk. And when I say that, I mean not just listen with your ears, but this is about you because you've got the third eye chakra card here. So that's all about your intuition. And this is about going inward and listening to your heart, mastering your own heart, finding balance within yourself, right? The twins, balance. Thinking about really going inward and thinking about how you communicate in your relationships. You know, Gemini tends to communicate. They're very good communicators. You're very good communicators, but sometimes when it comes to emotions, communication can fall flat, and you don't mean for it to. And you might think you're speaking from your heart, but the other party or people are not necessarily hearing you through the lens of your heart, if that makes sense. It's almost like you're not allowing it to flow. You're just sort of speaking to speak. And this is saying to you to really go inward this month, Gemini, the month of June, and listen to what your heart is trying to tell you. Like, listen to where it's trying to take you and who and what it's trying to guide you towards. And be honest about your feelings and try not to intellectualize them. So that's for the month of June for the Venus retrograde, Gemini. Let's get you a clarifier. Oops. Perception. Yeah, third eye chakra and perception. So this really is a month for you of going inward and trusting, listening to your heart and trusting your intuition. Above all else, don't necessarily go, this kind of sounds counterintuitive, but I would say this is a month where you don't want to just go off of facts, Gemini, because you're very brilliant. You're very brilliant. You're ruled by Mercury. You're the communicators and the thinkers and the intellects, but you want to really master the heart intellect this month. Trust your perceptions. Try to find the balance. Really sit with what you feel and don't always go to intellectualize it. Okay? I hope that makes sense for you, Gemini. I'll see you guys next month of July. Cancer. Cancer sun, moon, rising. What is your reading / message / advice, whatever wants to come through for our Cancer folks, for our crabs, for the month of June? We're almost to your season, Cancer. When it comes to relationships, with this Venus retrograde. Ooh, I already feel my throat, which means a lot of the Cancers are clearing out a lot, speaking up, or finding ways in which they have maybe felt not heard, mistreated. You're getting ready to use your voices in the month of June, Cancer. All right. Okay, Cancer. So yeah, for the month of June, when it comes to your relationships, this is like saying to you, it's time to really speak up for what you believe in, for yourself, for your family, and doing it out of a place of love, not any kind of, there's no, I don't feel any sort of like combativeness here or malice. It feels more just like doing it for the greater good. So just remember that when you are going to speak up, you're not, as long as you're not, I should say, doing it from a place of malice or trying to steamroll over anybody else, you will come out the other side of it stronger for it. So as hard as it may be for you right now to do this, to speak up, it's actually what you're being pushed and called to do, and you should do it. But as long as it's not combative, it's going to be, perfect for you, and you'll actually feel really good about yourself and probably get very positive feedback, because it's not something I feel for the folks that are listening here and watching this, it's not something you normally do. You tend to hang back. You tend to like just say yes for the sake of others. And this is the time where you're like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore because it's hurting my soul. And so you will actually speak up. And I feel like doing it from a place of love, and that's going to be really good for you. And it's an exercise in using your voice. And that's what the month of June is going to be for Cancer. And then also you get to step back after you do it, and you get to really pay attention to how others respond to you, and you'll have your answer. Because I feel like you're such a deeply feeling sign, right? You're ruled by the moon. You're very emotional, and you can be moody for better or worse. And so a lot of times you're more like tuned into the undercurrent, and you're not really paying attention to what's actually being said and done, if that makes sense. And so after you speak your truth in your relationship, or relationships, I should say, you're going to feel really good about yourself, and you're going to feel stronger, and you're going to step back, and you're going to be able to actually really weed out those relationships in your life that are not working for you, that you know have not been working for you, and that you've been on the fence about, Cancer. So this actually feels really good. So I'll give you that advice for the month of June. Definitely don't hold back, because it's time for you to speak up for yourself, and it's not anything to be, ashamed of, or to feel like, who do I think I am, or I'm being combative. No, it's about having your own needs met in your relationships. You can't always feed others only, Cancer. You have to allow yourself to be fed too, okay? Your final message card from the Shamanic Oracle deck. Abundance. Yeah. As you do that, Cancer, and this will be like a block. It's a block. You're building. You're putting down a block. And then as you do that, it's going to become more and more easier for you to speak up for what it is that you want. And you're going to see doors open up where they might have previously been blocked. You may even open up doors to more financial abundance in your life, just by taking steps to improve your relationships and how you are communicating in your relationships for yourself. Speaking up for yourself. So that's really important. As you do that, June is going to open up to be a really nice month for you. And yeah, it looks pretty good, Cancer. Oh, and for Cancer, one other thing I wanted to mention is stomach trouble will pretty much miraculously disappear as you speak up. So keep that in mind if you've been having stomach trouble. Pick that up for somebody or someone's watching, if that's the case. All right, Leo. Leo sun, moon, rising, month of June, Venus retrograde, relationship, message, advice. See whatever wants to come through here for you, for Leo. Leo, you like Cancer, I feel like there's something about speaking up. So this is good. It's like finally getting in touch with what the issue is for you right now, in terms of either how you're communicating or what you're communicating. Maybe you think that you're communicating clearly, but you're not communicating clearly. I don't know. So let's see what the cards want to say. Yeah, open up. Okay, so Leo, I feel like the past 4 or 5 months for you have definitely been challenging emotionally, because we're focusing on relationships right now because of the Venus retrograde for the month of June. I wanted to focus on relationships. So this is about the past 4 or 5 months. Opening up and talking and speaking about what's been bothering you has been kind of challenging. And it feels like a lot of you have recently done that, where you've opened the door and you've said some things. And this could be for any relationship in your life. It doesn't have to be, it could be work, it could be romantic, it can be parental, it doesn't matter. But you've opened up that door and you've said some things that were bothering you. And it might not have been well received at first, but now it kind of feels like it's died down a little bit and become more grounded, and you're just waiting. You're waiting to see if things change. But it feels like you have spoken up. But I do feel like you'll be speaking up some more. And the advice for you for the month of June is to actively wait, if that makes sense. Like, don't get too impatient if things don't shift around. Other people have their own timetable, just like you have your own timetable. But it does feel like it's been a challenging past couple of months for you, and now you're just like waiting. But you've done your part, you've spoken up, or you're about to, and you're waiting to see what comes in after that. So that's for the month of June. Let's get one more shamanic card here and see what we've got. joy. Okay, so that's great. So after this time period, as we leave June and we go into July, and the Venus retrograde ends, which is June 25th, Venus will station direct. I do feel like you're going to go into that joy frequency. Like there will be a nice feeling when all is said and done within your relationships with yourself, with others. You're just going to be feeling a lot more light. So you've been going through some challenging times emotionally, whether it's within yourself, with others, and now once you get through this time, like June after Venus retrograde, you will be feeling a lot happier. There's going to be a joy coming back into your life. But it's not without you taking the steps to create that. So it'd be like speaking up, saying what you need, what you don't need, what you want, what you don't want. If you've already done that, you're waiting for the results. If you haven't done it yet, you will be doing it and waiting for the results. But either way, the ultimate end game here is joy. And that's what you want, right? All right. Virgo. Okay. Virgo sun, moon, rising for the month of June. Venus retrograde, relationship message, or messages, I should say. See what wants to come through here for you, Virgo. I'm going super fast through these because that's how I was feeling called to do this. Maybe because it's Gemini season. Gemini is quick and speedy. I have Gemini on my chart, so this is what I was feeling. I always go with what I'm feeling, so here we go. Virgo, you're also ruled by Mercury like Gemini, so maybe that's why I felt compelled to tell you the way I'm doing this. All right, Virgo, for the month of June, sun, moon, rising, for the Venus retrograde, relationships. It's my tablecloth. Okay, Virgo. All right. So, what do we have for you for this Venus retrograde? I feel like a lot of you have been, or are, I should say at the moment, focusing on the past quite a bit, like Taurus. I said the same for Taurus. So focusing on the past and perhaps like a friendship that went sour or a relationship that, just kind of went flat and neither party really did much to pick it back up and get it moving. But I do feel like that is going to, one of you is going to reach out, send a message, or you may have already done that, and you're like waiting to see what happens after that to see if you're going to reconnect or not. And I kind of get the feeling, I got to be honest, that this is something that it's like, it's been bothering you for a long time, but it was more like not knowing was worse than knowing. But now once you know, you'll be able to move forward. So I don't necessarily feel that this person's going to come back into your life per se in the way that you might have hoped or wanted them to, but you will have some sort of closure. So I feel like that's what this Venus retrograde, the month of June, will be about for you, Virgo, is finding closure and peace within a relationship that went, or friendship, whatever, that went flat some time ago. Definitely some time ago. I feel like it's 5+ years back. But for some reason, you've been revisiting it, and now it's like time to clear that. I feel like that's the theme for you. It's like clearing maybe some karma around relationships that were left hanging, either by you or by the other party. And this is like finding a way to close that door finally. That's what this month is about for you, Virgo. All right, let's get one more clarifier card here from the Shamanic Oracle deck. Also, too, some doors are like better to stay closed, right? Like there's a reason why you may not have closure with certain relationships, and that's better for you. So it's probably best to just not force it. Okay. Abundance. So yeah, as you move through June, through this Venus retrograde, I feel like you're going to be getting new people coming into your life, new connections, new friends that are more in alignment with who you are today versus who you were 5+ years ago. Because that's what this seems to be for you. There's like a shift of focus, and you even have the change your focus card here. So it's like not focusing so much on the connections that you've lost, but looking more towards the future and the connections that are coming in that you're gaining. Because that's really, those connections are more in alignment with who you are today. Okay? All right, Libra, sun, moon, rising, Venus retrograde for the month of June. Quick little message for our Libras. Advice, messages, whatever needs to come through for you. Oops. take that one out. We're focusing on relationships for this month. Relationships. This is in regards to all of your relationships. Okay. All right, Libra. So I feel like for a lot of you, you're involved in a new relationship, I want to say, a new connection that probably started, from what I'm feeling about this, probably started like prior to all the craziness of the pandemic. So probably like January, February, maybe even early March, like right at the beginning. And then, things happened and it went into a hiatus. You still were in contact. This doesn't have to be romantic. Like I said, these are for relationships in general, but for this particular reading, I do feel like it is romantic. So this is likely for Libras that are single or just beginning to date somebody, and then things kind of happened and it slowed down and it's like starting to pick back up again, and you're trying to feel it out and see, like, is this really what I thought it was? So this time has been a gift for you, Libra, in the area of relationships, because you've really had a chance to step back and see if this was really something that you wanted. And now that things are going to push forward again, you're going to have that clarity of belief. You're going to know you've really grown. I feel like I'm focusing on the butterfly here. You've really grown the past 3 months, Libra, when it comes to knowing what you want, and knowing what you don't want, and knowing if something is worth continuing for you. Like, not just if it makes sense on the intellectual level, but does it make sense emotionally? And that's really where you're at right now. And so you've been having, like, I want to say, a good time figuring it out, because you like to analyze, you like to think, and the past 2 or 3 months have been all about that for you. And so for the month of June, I feel like you're going to get that aha moment. You've really transformed, you've gotten your clarity, and you're going to know whether you want to continue on with certain relationships in your life, or if you think it's just best to cut them loose. And honestly, there's nothing here that feels negative or rude. It's just like a natural order of things, okay? So just follow the natural order, follow the divine order. Trust yourself on what you've picked up on through the past couple of months. Okay, let's get one more card. Burden. Okay, so for some of you, the relationship that we're referring to could actually feel or have felt like a burden for you. This could be somebody that you saw every day through work, but you were friends, but you were having a hard time like disconnecting from the person. But now it's like you're realizing that as the clarity comes in, some of you are going to realize that this relationship has actually been a burden on you and that you feel a lot more free without it. And then others of you are going to realize, like, oh, I think I want to be in this relationship. I hope that I haven't been a burden. So it could go either way. So it's like, Libra, the scales, balance. But either way, you have that clarity. And for those of you that this is referring to where the relationship was like a burden, again, I feel like this time has been a gift for you to get yourself clear about that and have almost like have a healthy way out without drama, if that makes sense. All right, Libra. Scorpio sun, moon, rising. This is your little reading for June. Venus retrograde in regards to relationships, romantic, friendships, any kind of relationships. What kind of advice or messages want to come through for our Scorpios? And again, this is going to be for the month of June. All right, Scorpio. So it feels like for a lot of you, remember, we're in Gemini season, and Gemini is the sign of duality. It's the mirror. It's the twins, right? And so this month for you is kind of like going to feel like a real looking within the mirror, facing yourself, maybe facing your shadow side, facing things that you might have been able to not deal with or think about in regards to relationships. It could even just be in regards to the relationship you have to self. It doesn't have to be with another or others, it's the first relationship is the one we have to ourselves, right? So there could be this sense of just feeling like lonely or alone, trying to light your path, trying to fill up your time. And so I feel like for you, for the month of June, is more about not necessarily the relationship with others. It's more about the relationship to self. That's what I feel. And then as you do that and as you go deeper with that, you're able to like make some better decisions about your relationships going forward. So I do feel like for a lot of you, this is like a time of just really deep self-reflection and going inward and maybe feeling like alone but not lonely, if that makes sense, because you're not really lonely but alone, I would say. And then as you come out of the month of June and the Venus retrograde, you're going to be feeling like ready, like renewed, almost rejuvenated, like, okay, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. You may even make yourself a nice list of the qualities of relationships you want in your life, or the ones you want to release around the full moon, which is on June 5th. So yeah, so for you, this is just a lot of like self-reflection right now, contemplation, plans for the future when it comes to, relationships and things like that. Let's get a confirmation card from the Shamanic Oracle deck for Scorpio. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising. New day. Yeah. So yeah, at the end of this, it's like a new day for you. So for those of you that have been feeling like lonely or alone, that's going to end soon. As you cruise through June, you're going to be feeling a lot more uplifted. You're going to be feeling a lot better. You're going to be feeling much more clear on what it is that you want, and being able to actually like push forward, and it's more attainable. That's what I would say. Like, it's more attainable. Like, you see the finish line. Okay? That's for Scorpio. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising. This is your reading for the month of June for the Venus retrograde. We're focusing on relationship for this month. Relationship to self, relationship to others. However the messages hit you is how you take them. These are quick little messages for June for each sign. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising. Let's see what we got. All right. So yeah, so for our Sagittarius folks, there's a definite feeling of self-worth being uplifted through creative endeavors. So it's like working creatively, finding energy and strength that you maybe didn't know you had to put together some projects that now you're feeling really good about yourself, and it's helped you to value yourself much more on a deeper level, where I feel like for a lot of you in the past, that wasn't necessarily the case. It was harder for you to do that. You were feeling down on yourself. But just recently, the past couple of weeks, I would say, creatively, you've been feeling a lot better about your passions, yourself, your relationships. Things are looking up. And for a lot of you, at the end of this Venus retrograde, there could be new relationships coming in, or like a heightened level of love and awareness in the ones that you currently have. So this to me doesn't feel like severing. This actually feels like increase. Some of the other times I do readings, obviously it doesn't always come out that way. It comes out as like a decrease. But for you, for Venus retrograde and for your relationships for the month of June, this is about increase. This is about feeling really good about yourself, honoring yourself, knowing your self-worth, and then that draws in, more as you do that, as your self-confidence soars, because that's what I feel for the Sagittarius. Feels very like you're owning your fire, like really owning your fire. All right. That's actually a good one. I said actually a good one like I expected it to be bad. I didn't mean it that way. It just was, this one feels really good. All right. Yeah, I feel like a lot of you are really proud of yourselves, and you should be, for accomplishing certain things that you didn't even think you could. Discernment. Okay. So yeah, so also you've been discerning. You've been thinking about relationships a lot in your life, and you shifted the focus to the creative side, and that really did help you. So that was like you took an oath to yourself and you said, you know what? I'm wasting so much energy, not wasting, I shouldn't say that. I'm expending so much energy on my relationships with others, and I really need to focus on my relationship to myself right now and what I can do to up my self-worth, up my value in my own eyes, not anybody else's, in my own eyes. And you've done that. And because you've done that, you're coming out of the other side of this just feeling like a real growth within your relationships, and it feels really nice, really positive, Sagittarius. Capricorn, Capricorn sun, moon, rising. This is your reading, message / advice for the month of June. We're doing little quickies for Gemini, for Venus retrograde, which is the month of June. And so we're focusing on relationships to ourselves, relationship to others. This is specifically for Capricorn for the month of June. Let's see what we've got for you. I feel like for you, Capricorn, before I even lay the cards out, this Venus retrograde is like very focused on the past. And a lot of times retrogrades are focused on the past, but for you more so this month. It feels like people from your past could be popping back up into your life, not necessarily only romantic either. This is friends, this could be colleagues, but people coming back in, almost like to tie up loose ends, finish up, sort up some karma, finish things out, speak some truths finally, once and for all, so that you can move forward, shut some doors, and then reopen other ones where they need to be reopened. But let's see what the cards want to say here. Yep. Yeah, literally the cards are saying what I just said. So yeah, focusing on the relationships in your life, the increase and decrease, okay, let's just say, the polarity between the two, and speaking up with people coming back in that you are like, you know what, you want to come back into my life, sure, but under these conditions. Like you have like these conditions with specific relationships where it could even be family, like you could have had falling out with a sibling or a cousin or something like that, and they reach out and you're like, or they may already have, and you're just debating on what to do, or they will and you're going to be debating. And this is like, okay, let me really sit with this, and is this person of value? Do they increase my life in some way? What do they bring in? You want to really think about that. Like, what do they bring in? And then you will communicate to them what you feel in a very tactful manner, where you're going to say either you're going to shut that door entirely, or you're going to figure out what's worth repairing and rebuilding. And that's what this month's about for you, Capricorn, for the month of June. It's like, increase versus decrease, and looking at these relationships that have been let go of for whatever the reason. Feels more like a falling out. It doesn't feel like just something that went flat. It feels like there was a specific issue within the relationships that I'm referring to, and that you either run into the person or they contact you, but it's like the past is coming up and you get to decide now for once and for all. It's like judgment day. Like, do I want this relationship in my life, or do I want to just kind of let sleeping dogs lie? And you will do it in a tactful manner. So if you do decide that this is not a relationship you want to continue, you'll find the way to say that. You'll find the words to communicate that in a tactful manner. So let's get our final clarifying card here from the Shamanic Oracle deck for Capricorn. Whoops. Abundance. This is funny. This card keeps coming up repeatedly. I think this is like the fourth sign that's gotten this card. So I think overall, and that doesn't happen very often. So overall, I feel like this is just, even amongst anything that could be seen or felt as a potential negative, like if you're severing a relationship, if you're shutting the door, even though that is the case, it still leads to this feeling of growth and abundance for you personally. So it's like something about self-worth here. It's like finally like deciding what you are going to deal with and what you are not going to deal with, and standing up for yourself. And that's a really good thing. I think that's something that is to be very proud of. So yeah, so this is, no matter what, the end result here for you, Capricorn, is a feeling of increase, okay? Okay, Aquarius. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising. This is your message / reading / intuitive guidance for the month of June for the Venus retrograde in regards to relationships. Relationship with self, relationship with others, friends, romantic, business, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just apply it where where you feel it goes. Oops. My tablecloth is like falling apart as I'm shuffling like a madwoman. Sorry. Hold on 1 second. Okay. All right, Aquarius, what we got for you? I feel like the Aquarians that are listening to this are like, I feel like you're this Venus retrograde for you, the month of June, it's like a change, a lot of like your mind, your emotions, like you feel to me like you're more changeable than you normally would be. Like you're bendy. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Like the wind blows, right? And you change your mind. It feels like a lot of you are in this space of like not really sure what to do. And so what I would say for you is that for this month, it's just to really pay attention to any opportunities that come into your life through people, through relationships. Could be like friends of friends, people that you in the past might not have given a time of day to. It sort of feels to me like you're having a change of heart or a change. Yeah, like you're going to expand your circle, your social circles through others with people that you would normally not necessarily have given like the chance to for some reason. But it feels like for a lot of you, you've been really digging deep, and you will be digging deep during this the month of June. It is Venus retrograde, so you'll be focusing on how the giving and receiving, the give and take within your relationships. And I feel like you're going to have a change of heart with a lot of them in a positive way, where you're going to feel like much more open. And that's a really good thing. So that's what the month of June brings in for you, is just like a reevaluation of how you've been operating within your relationships. And maybe you feel like you've been closed off, because I feel like you're going to be much more open than normal, Aquarius, for the month of June. But pay attention like to the opportunities coming in. It's really important, because it does feel like there's some good ones there. But you want to make sure that they're balanced, right? New beginnings. Really nice. Yeah. So you're going to have some, I feel, new relationships coming in, new friendships through others. And like I said, normally, I feel like this like eclectic vibe too for the Aquarians that are watching. Like different. Like this, not your normal, it's not like, I don't want to say not normal for you, but it's like a different way of operating within your relationships. You've been doing a lot of contemplation and self-reflection, and things are changing for the positive. So there's like new stuff here for you, Aquarius, for the month of June. Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising. This is your little reading for the month of June. I'm focusing on the Venus retrograde and relationships. That's what this is going to be pertaining to. So take this with a grain of salt, but do take what resonates with you, as I always say. Ooh, I'm going to take that one because that one wanted to come out. All right, Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising. What do we want to tell you for the month of June in regards to your relationships? All relationships, relationship to self, relationship with others. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So again, seems to be like an overarching theme for the Venus retrograde in general, is just about like being open and honest and speaking up for what you want, what you believe in all of your relationships. And as you do that and as you're honest about it, the only thing that can really happen is that it can just come together. Now, again, this has to be done in a way that's not passive aggressive, but honest, like where it's like, it really hurts my feelings when you say this to me, or I really enjoyed when you did that for me. And by doing all and saying these little things within all of your relationships, Pisces, it actually brings the love in closer, and you feel like more united with the people in your life. And that's what you want. You've been feeling a little isolated, and now it's time to feel more, open. And just by speaking up and taking the lead, hello, that's what the card says, taking the lead, speaking up, speaking from the heart, but not making it too emotional, right? Because, I love you guys. I love Pisces. I love you all. My moon is Pisces, so I totally speak this language. But sometimes Pisces energy can be too much. It can be too emotional. It can be too sensitive, too drawn in to others. And so you want to make sure that when you do take the lead and you do speak up, you're doing it from a space of compassion, but also objectivity. So you want to try to be a little more objective. And the more you do that, everything's just going to come together for you in the month of June. And for those of you that feel like maybe you were wrong in the recent past, I do see you correcting that. So this is overall pretty good. It feels very loving and open for Pisces. Let's just get one more shamanic oracle healing card and see what it wants to say for you for the month of June, Pisces. Teaching. Yeah. So for a lot of you, this is literally like you've been working with somebody to help you to express yourself in a more healthy manner. And this month you're going to get to exercise that. Like you're going to get to really look at what you've been working on. You're going to have the opportunities to implement, implement what you've been talking about within your relationships. Like situations will come up for you where you actually will be able to practice what you've been preaching or to implement what you've been learning, or however you've been, whether it's with a therapist or a literal teacher or friends or whoever you've been working with, Pisces. This month you'll have the opportunity to kind of show off or showcase what it is that you've been working on. Even though the other people in your life may not know that that's what you're doing, they'll sense the difference and they'll respond in a positive manner. But things are going to come together for you in your relationships by you speaking up and being honest and leaning into what you've been learning, whether that's through just self-help books, working with a therapist or a counselor, whatever. But whatever way that is for you, it is going to benefit you. You're going to see the benefits of that during the month of June, Pisces. You probably already have started seeing them, but they're going to continue. So I hope that made sense. I'll be back for all of you in the month of July. Take really good care of yourselves. Bye.